There are 15 fast-growing vegetables you can sow and harvest in under a month, and I am going to count them down from the slowest to the very fastest, because the crop at number 1 is ready to eat in 8 days, and I mean 8 days from the seed touching the soil to the fork touching the plate. If you have never grown anything, or if you tried once and it failed and you decided the whole business was not for you, this is the video that fixes it, because the single thing that makes a gardener is the first harvest, and the fastest route to a first harvest is not to grow something difficult beautifully, it is to grow something easy quickly. My name is Malcolm Ashby, and I have been growing things for 50 years. My own first attempt, since we are being honest, was a disaster. I tried to grow melons, of all things, in a cold English garden, because melons were what I fancied, and I got 3 leaves and a sulk. It was an old allotment friend called Bert who put me right. "Grow something you can eat inside a month," he said, "and you will still be gardening in 20 years. He was right, and everything on tonight's list is that advice made into a plan. Every single one of these can go in a bed, a raised box, a window box, or a tray on a kitchen counter, and every one of them will be food before the month is out. Let me say one thing, and then I will not bring it up again. Every plant I know, its look-alike, and what it is worth in dollars, I have put into one book. On page 31 there is a weed that grows in most backyards, that people spray on site, and that replaces the $5 tea they have been buying for years. It is at thebackyardgoldmine.com, and the link is under this video. If you want it, it is there. That is all. Number 15. Baby beetroot and, more to the point, beet greens, at the far edge of our month at about 28 to 30 days. Now, a full-sized beetroot takes 2 months and more, so that is not what we are doing here. We are doing 2 things at once. First, sow the seed thickly, and when the seedlings are a few inches high, thin them out. And here is the bit almost everyone gets wrong. Do not compost the thinnings. Beet greens are a superb vegetable in their own right, better than the root to my taste, and they are magnificent sautéed in olive oil with a little onion and garlic. Second, whatever you leave in the ground carries on toward a small, tender baby beet you can pull at the month mark, sweeter than any supermarket beet you have ever bought. 2 harvests from 1 sowing, and the thinning that most beginners feel guilty about becomes dinner. Number 14. Baby turnips, at about 28 days. And this is a vegetable with an image problem it does not deserve. Everyone's idea of a turnip is a great woody cannonball that has been in the ground since the reign of a previous monarch, and that is not what we are growing. A turnip pulled small, at golf ball size, is crisp, sweet, faintly peppery, delicious raw in slices, and utterly unlike its elderly relatives. The variety matters. Look for the small, fast Japanese sorts, and the leaves, once again, are a proper green in their own right, and cook like mustard greens, because that is essentially what they are. Sow thinly in cool weather. Keep them watered so they grow fast, because a turnip that grows fast is sweet, and a turnip that grows slowly turns hot and tough, and pull them the moment they look ready, rather than waiting hopefully for size. Number 13. Baby kale, at around 25 to 30 days. And this is where the video takes its most useful turn, because from here on we are mostly talking about harvesting familiar plants young, rather than growing different plants. Full kale takes 2 months and gets leathery, which is why so many people insist they dislike it. Baby kale, cut at hand length, is tender, sweet, and mild enough to eat raw in a salad. And if you sow it densely, 9 or 12 plants to the square foot, instead of the usual 4, you can cut it like a lawn. Better still, cut and come again. Take the outer leaves and leave the growing center alone, and one plant feeds you repeatedly for weeks. Try one of the darker or bluer sorts if you can. They have a real depth to them, and a bowl of it looks handsome enough to serve to company. Number 12. Baby bok choy, around 25 days. And if you have never grown Asian greens, start here, because they are among the fastest and most rewarding vegetables in the world. Get a dwarf or baby variety, sow it, keep it moist, and in 3 and a bit weeks you can pull whole little plants the size of your palm, roots trimmed, and throw them straight into a stir-fry, where they cook in 90 seconds and taste like something from a restaurant. They prefer the cooler ends of the season, spring and autumn, and they bolt in high summer heat, so time them accordingly. The pleasure of harvesting a bok choy is that you take the whole plant, which for beginners is enormously satisfying, because you get to hold up an entire vegetable you made. Number 11. Mizuna and the mustard greens, around 21 to 25 days, and these are the ones that make salads interesting. Mizuna is a Japanese mustard with feathery, deeply cut leaves and a gentle peppery bite, and there are red-tinged sorts that are genuinely beautiful in a bowl. They germinate in days, they grow in almost any weather, they tolerate cold that stops other things dead, and they are cut and come again, so one sowing keeps producing. One extra piece of value most people miss: when they eventually bolt and flower, the flowers are edible too. Small and yellow and mustardy, and scattered over a plate, they turn a plain supper into something that looks like it cost money. Number 10. Radish greens and baby radishes, at about 21 to 28 days. And I will say plainly that the radish is the vegetable that has taught more people to garden than any other. Seed to fat little red root in 3 weeks, reliably, in almost any soil, in almost any country. Sow them thinly, because the commonest beginner's mistake is a thick row that produces plenty of leaf and no root at all. Keep them watered, because a thirsty radish goes hot and hollow. And do not please throw away the tops, because radish greens are edible and good, slightly bristly raw but excellent wilted into soup or blitzed with oil and garlic into a rough green sauce. 2 crops from 1 3-week seed, again, which is the quiet theme of this entire list. Number 9. Spinach, true spinach, at around 21 days for baby leaf. Full-size spinach takes 6 weeks or more, but baby spinach, the stuff you buy in expensive plastic bags that goes slimy 2 days after you open it, is 3 weeks from sowing. Sow densely, harvest with scissors, and keep it in cool weather, because spinach hates heat and bolts the moment it feels summer coming. The economics here are the most persuasive on the whole list. A bag of baby spinach costs several dollars and lasts a few days. A window box of it, sown 3 weeks apart in succession, gives you a continuous supply for months for the price of 1 seed packet, and the difference in flavour between spinach cut 10 minutes ago and spinach shipped across a continent is not subtle. Number 8. Arugula, or rocket, at 18 to 21 days. And this is the fastest of all the proper salad leaves. It germinates in 2 or 3 days, it grows in poor soil, it survives cold, and it delivers that hot, nutty, peppery flavour that turns a plain lettuce salad into something with an opinion. If you let it get old or dry, it turns fiercely hot, which some people love, and the answer either way is water and speed. Cut it young, take the outer leaves, and it will regrow 2 or 3 times. And when it finally bolts, let one plant flower, because the little cream flowers, with dark veins, taste of concentrated rocket, and, again, they cost a fortune anywhere you can even find them. Now, a quick word before we go on. Most of the people watching this channel are not subscribed. If you enjoy finding out what old and ordinary things are really worth, press subscribe. It costs you nothing, and you can always change your mind later. Right then, the top 7, and now the days really start to fall away. Number 7. Loose leaf lettuce, at 18 to 21 days for baby leaves, and the distinction that makes it work is loose leaf rather than hearting. A hearting lettuce, an iceberg or a romaine, wants 2 months to build that dense head. A loose leaf sort makes no head at all. It just produces leaf after leaf from a central point, which means you can start cutting the moment there is anything worth cutting. Sow thickly if you intend to harvest young, because spacing plants far apart is for people growing big heads and simply wastes ground if you are not. Cut across the top with scissors like a haircut, water it, and it comes again, 3 or 4 times over. A single sowing in a trough by the back door will keep a household in salad for 2 months. Number 6. Green onions and scallions at around 18 days, with a trick that makes them nearly free. You can grow them from seed, and they are quick. But here is the better route. Next time you buy a bunch of spring onions, cut the green tops off for cooking, and keep the white bases with the little roots attached. Stand them in an inch of water on the windowsill, and they will regrow green tops within days, and you can cut them again 3 or 4 times before the plant tires. Then, instead of throwing those exhausted bases away, plant them in soil and let them recover properly, where they will grow on into full plants and eventually flower and seed. One supermarket bunch becomes an endless supply, and the whole thing starts in a jam jar on a windowsill with no soil at all. Number 5. Cress, at 14 days, and this is the one every schoolchild grew on a wet paper towel, which is exactly why it belongs here. Everything that made it a school project makes it a serious quick crop. It germinates in 2 days, it needs no depth, no proper soil, and barely any light, and in a fortnight you have a dense mat of peppery green that is genuinely useful in sandwiches, in egg dishes, and scattered over soup. Sow it on damp compost in any shallow tray, keep it moist, cut it with scissors. If you want to be more ambitious, grow it in a proper tray in a sunny window and it becomes something rather elegant. 14 days, a windowsill, no garden required, and no possible way to fail. Number 4. Pea shoots, at 12 to 15 days, and this is my own favourite of everything on tonight's list. Take dried peas, ordinary ones, soak them overnight, and sow them shoulder to shoulder in a tray of compost, far more densely than you would ever plant peas properly. In under a fortnight you have a thicket of tender shoots and tendrils that taste intensely, freshly of peas, better than most actual peas, and they cost a small fortune in the smart food shops because chefs love them. Cut them with scissors above the lowest leaf, and many varieties will give you a second cut. And they use up dried peas from the cupboard, which means the raw material for a tray of restaurant-grade greens costs pennies. Number 3. Sunflower shoots, at 12 to 15 days, and if you grow only one thing after watching this, make it this one, because nobody believes it until they taste it. You take black oil sunflower seeds, the ordinary sort sold for bird feed, soak them for 8 hours or so, and sow them thickly on a tray of damp compost. What comes up is thick, crisp, and startlingly nutty, like the greenest, freshest version of a sunflower seed, with a texture no lettuce ever had. 2 warnings, because bigger seeds mean bigger risks. Give them air movement and do not overwater, or you will get mold, and check every morning for anything grey or fuzzy. And many people weight the tray with a second tray on top for the first few days, which forces the shoots to push up together and gives you a lovely even mat. Number 2. Microgreens broadly at 8 to 12 days, and this is a whole category rather than one plant, so let me explain what they actually are, because the name puts people off. A microgreen is simply any ordinary vegetable or herb grown from ordinary seed, harvested extremely young, at the point where the first true leaves appear above the little seed leaves. Radish, broccoli, mustard, beet, kale, basil, all of them. You take a shallow tray, fill it with 1 inch or 2 of compost, scatter seed far more thickly than you ever would in a bed, water gently, keep it on a bright windowsill, and cut the whole tray with scissors when the true leaves show. Radish and broccoli are ready in 8 to 10 days, most in 10 to 12. Basil takes about 3 weeks, because basil does everything slowly. They are intensely flavoured, they cost extraordinary money in shops, and you can run tray after tray in succession all year round on a kitchen counter in the dead of winter. If you have no garden at all, this is your garden. Number 1. Radish microgreens specifically at 8 days, and they take the top spot because they are the single fastest thing you can put in your mouth from a seed. 8 days, sow on a Saturday, eat the following Sunday. They germinate in 2 days. They grow like something in a fable. They need no special skill or equipment, and the flavour is not some faint whisper of radish. It is a proper peppery bite, sometimes stronger than the root itself. The reason I have put them at number 1 is not really the speed, though. It is what the speed does to a person. Nothing else in the whole of growing gives you that first proof so fast, And once you have cut and eaten something you grew yourself, something changes, and you start looking at trays and windowsills and the corner of the yard differently. Bert was right, and the 8-day radish is his advice at its purest. Get one win under your belt, and the rest of your gardening life follows from it. So look at what we have actually covered. Beet greens and thinnings you are about to compost. Turnips pulled small and sweet instead of left to go woody. Kale and lettuce cut young and cut again. Rocket in 18 days, cress in 14 on a paper towel. Pea shoots from cupboard peas, sunflower shoots from birdseed, and a tray of radish microgreens ready in 8 days on a kitchen counter in the middle of January. Not one of these needs an allotment, a greenhouse, a rotavator, or the faintest idea what you are doing, and every single one of them is food inside a month. Whatever you do, don't decide you cannot grow things until you have tried one 8-day tray. If tonight made you want to put something in soil this weekend, press like before you go. It truly tells me to keep making these, and subscribe if you have not, because next time I am doing something rather different. I buried 6 kinds of common kitchen scraps under 6 identical tomato plants and left them all season to find out which one actually works, and I will tell you now, the result genuinely surprised me, and one popular piece of advice turned out to be badly wrong. Then tell me down in the comments, what is the first thing you are going to sow, and what is the last thing you tried to grow that failed? I read every single one, and I promise you my melons were worse. Go and have a proper look in that garden. You never know. See you next time.